Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so this is going to be your pointers for the periodical exam on contemporary Philippine arts from the region, or SocSci 211. So let me just share my screen. All right, so there are four parts of the exam. So on your screen, you will be able to see part one. This is modified true or false, and this is 10 items. So on your answer sheet or on the test paper, write your answer on the space provided. And the instruction would be write true if the statement is if the statement is correct, and false if otherwise. And write below the statement the correct answer. Let's say, for example, on the first question, there is a line or space provided before the number in which you can write your answer. So let's say for number one, contemporary art refers to artworks created in the present time. So is it true or false? So whatever your answer, you need to indicate that on the space provided before the number. And if it is false, you just need to write the correct statement under that question. Okay? So it is 10 items. So part two, this is a multiple choice, and this is also 10 items. The instruction is encircle the letter of the correct answer. So whatever the questions on part two, all the details and informations will be provided on the first part of this video. And on part three, this is objective um, essay. So this is two items, but 5 points each. So answer briefly in 3 to 5 sentences and direct to the point. Okay. And part four, this is situational analysis. This is also two items. So it is 5 points each. So the same instruction, please briefly answer in 3 to 5 sentences and direct to the point. So the following slides or information that you're going to see on the screen are just reviewer and pointers. Okay. So if you want to take down notes, it's fine. So let's start. So contemporary art, that is, or this is made by artists of today, and it reflects the current issues and ideas. So that is contemporary art. Example to that are digital art posted on social media. There are also street murals created by artists to express um, or to reflect any issues and ideas or any advocacy that is hidden on the art that they are presenting. So that is contemporary art. Second is cultural center of the Philippines. This is very much um, related. And if this information showing on your screen are not enough, you can check that online. What is Cultural Center of the Philippines, or CCP, all about? All about. So the CCP was built in the 1970s as a national venue for arts and culture. So maaari niyong tingnan online ano ang itsura ng CCP, or Cultural Center of the Philippines. So there are big events that happens already in CCP. One example or some example to that are the ballet and the theater performances held at CCP. You can check that online by yourselves. Okay, so that's Cultural Center of the Philippines. Next would be the protest art. During this time, you just need to remember that during this time, artists used murals, posters, and performances to resist dictatorship. So if they want to protest, air their grievances, they are making a protest art. Some of the protest art doesn't have any caption, but the art expresses um, dictatorship. So examples are social realist paintings. So kung gusto nyo malaman kung ano ang example ng social realist paintings, you can check that online. Just type in social realist paintings. These are type of protest art that criticizes the government's abuses. Okay? Next would be forms of contemporary art. There are many forms of contemporary art. Should I say this is diverse and it covers many forms beyond painting. So like what I am always sharing in our discussion that contemporary arts are beyond painting, the traditional one. So some examples are sculpture as a visual type of or forms of contemporary art. There are also spoken word or literary that is also forms of contemporary art. Of course, dancing, performances, live performances, forms of contemporary art as well. Digital art or the multimedia, this is also form of contemporary arts. So if you want to check out this example, you can check that online. There are different forms of contemporary arts that you can use. I'm encouraging you guys to check the different forms of contemporary art so that when it comes to explaining, making reflections, you will be able to share them and write comprehensively. Okay, so next we have abstract and expressionism. Abstract expressionism and conceptual art. These styles emphasizes emotion and ideas rather than realistic images. So you can look up the work of Jose Hoya. They are doing abstract works in terms of contemporary art and also the installations focusing on concepts. So maaari niyong i-check about online about the abstract expressionism and conceptual art. So ang example dyan ay sila Jose Hoya, other installations, contemporary art. Okay, so feel free to explore that. Next, regional art practices. So the regional art practices, these are the local traditions and their art are integrated into modern art practices. So one example is the tinalak weaving in Mindanao. So it is a traditional type of art, but their practices or the theme integrated on that artwork are mostly modern art practices. So that's where there are many different types of arts in many different regions of the country. But one of my example is the tinalak weaving. So you can check that out online, guys, if you want to see additional or some regional art practices. Okay, also the Sinulog Festival dances in Cebu. That's part of regional art practices in Aklan, the Kalibo Ati-Atihan, and many more. Let's go to performance art. It is a live art from that blends different media. So example to that, like the spoken word performances with music and visuals. So maraming live art performances na pwede nyo i-check that we can add to this example that you can see on your screen. Okay. Next is the eco art. Mostly the inspiration of this artwork raises awareness about protecting our nature, about climate change, um, natural um, disasters that been caused by, you know, humans. So most of the eco art are intended to raise awareness. Example to that, sculptures made from plastic bottles. So if we are recycling, we can, save and preserve our environment. So that's one form of eco art. You can check that online, other forms of eco art. Social realism. Yes. So for this type of art, these are mostly depicted or depicts poverty, injustice, and resistance through their works. So check out online Orlando Castillo's paintings showing how workers and, how they are protesting. So marami pang social realism na pwede nyo i-check online that depicts poverty, injustice, and resistance. So marami pa dyan. So ang isang example lang dyan is si Orlando Castillo and kung ano ang nire-represent ng social realism. The contemporary art practices. So this artist, well, modern artist approaches their artwork. This is a mix of tradition with new ideas to express their identity. Some examples are fusion art, combining indigenous motifs and digital designs. So check that out, guys, so that you can have many examples when it comes to different art practices. All right, so those are the pointers and informations that I can share. Let me go back to my first slide so that you will have the overview of the exam on SocSci 211. So again, I'm flashing on your screen the parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the coverage of our exam tomorrow. So again, part 1 is modified true or false. If the statement is false, you need to correct the statement. So write the correct statement below the first statement. Part 2 is multiple choice. Usually the informations that needed to answer the multiple choices has been discussed on my recent presentation, the one that I have flashed online. That's part 3 would be essay. So I'm gonna give you a clue about the essay. This is a form of artwork. So be familiar with the form of artwork. Also, how are you going to connect the contemporary art to your daily life? Part 4 would be situational analysis. And part 3 and part 4, you can answer it in 3 to 5 sentences and direct to the point. Part 4 would be, yeah, like what I have mentioned, situational analysis. The role of an artist in painting their advocacy. What does it? What role does this artwork plays on the context? If a student performs a contemporary art presentation, what art form is being depicted there? Okay, so if you have any question, I'm gonna upload this information on the GC, and then feel free to reach me out. Okay, so the best of luck and God bless. Thank you guys. Good luck sa inyong exam. Read the lecture that I have sent to our GCs and have enough rest so that you can answer the questions. Okay, if you have any question, you can chat or drop down your questions on our group chats. Thank you guys. This is Sir Oliver and have a good day. Bye.